incredible selection of the brands you love. This season's newest trend for a fraction of what you'd pay at department stores.
You gotta go to Ross.
Good morning, America. This morning, he said. President Trump now responding to his fired FBI Director James Comey's testimony on Capitol Hill.
No collusion, no obstruction. He's a leaker.
Trump denying he asked for loyalty and saying he's ready to tell all.
Would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of
100%.
Plus, when he says we'll know more about any secret tapes of their conversation.
Highway standoff, the harrowing scene. SWAT teams surround an 18-wheeler following a high-speed chase. A car incinerated during a chain of accidents. How the driver was finally caught and what we're learning about him this morning.
Caught on camera, look at this balloon accident. High winds sending this hot air balloon out of control. The pilot left dangling.
He's hanging out.
Oh my God.
Eyewitnesses stunned as the pilot falls out. One of the passengers stuck inside, now speaking out to us.
And Cavs comeback.
Cleveland is still alive.
Cleveland taking Game 4 of the NBA playoffs, stopping a Warriors sweep in a battle turning tense on the court.
James and Durant jawing at each other.
LeBron setting a new record and pulling off this incredible alley-oop.
Pass to himself.
The stage now set for a Game 5 showdown.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning. And here was the scene on the court overnight. A simultaneously subdued yet highly coordinated celebration for LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers doing their customized handshakes there.
We do something similar to that, don't we?
Yes, a lot less graceful.
A little more chest bumping. They won Game 4, by the way, bringing the series to 3-1. But they know they've got a steep hill to climb if they want to overtake the Golden State Warriors. Much more from the arena in Cleveland coming up. But down 3-1, they've been in this position before last year.
Series goes back to California now. We start here, though, with the intensifying battle between the President of the United States and the man that he fired as head of the FBI.
President Trump speaking out for the first time since James Comey testified before Congress, refuting some of Comey's central claims about their private conversations and telling our John Carl that he is willing to testify under oath.
The president giving cryptic answers, however, to repeated questions about whether he taped conversations in the Oval Office, saying he will let us know soon.
Meantime, sources tell ABC News the president's legal team is firing back, filing a complaint with the Justice Department asking for an inquiry into Comey for leaking details and memos of those private conversations. ABC's Mary Bruce is in Bedminster, New Jersey, where the president is spending the weekend. Mary, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Well, the president is now on the offensive, firing back at James Comey, saying he lied about their interactions during his sworn testimony before Congress. And now the president says he's willing to go under oath to prove it. This morning, it's his word.
Those were lies, plain and simple.
Versus his word.
Some of the things that he said just weren't true.
In his first remarks since James Comey's stunning testimony, President Trump declared vindication.
No collusion, no obstruction. He's a leaker.
The president embracing some of Comey's accounts and flatly rejecting others, like Comey's recollection of their February meeting in the Oval Office, where Comey says the president told him to let go of the investigation into fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
I took it as a direction. Right. I mean, this is the president of the United States with me alone saying, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do. Now, I didn't obey that, but that's the way I took it.
But in a heated exchange with our Jonathan Carl, Trump says it never happened.
I didn't say that.
So he lied about that.
Well, I didn't say that. I mean, I will tell you, I didn't say that.
The president also denies asking Comey for his loyalty.
I hardly know the man. I'm not going to say, I want you to pledge allegiance. Who would do that? Who would ask a man to pledge allegiance under oath? I mean, think of it. I hardly know the man. It doesn't make sense. No, I didn't say that, and I didn't say the other.
Would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of
100%.
So who really said what? The answers could be on tape.
And you seem to be hinting that there are recordings of those conversations.
I'm not hinting anything. I'll tell you about it over a very short period of time.
When is that?
Okay? Okay. Do you have a question here?
When will you tell us about the recordings?
Over a fairly short period of time.
Are there tapes, sir?
Oh, you're going to be very disappointed when you hear the answer. Don't worry.
And this morning, we still don't know if those tapes exist. The president there punting on any firm response. But if there are tapes, the House Intelligence Committee has now given the White House 2 weeks to turn them over. Dan and Paula.
Yeah, everybody wants to see those tapes if they do indeed exist. Mary Bruce, thanks for your reporting this morning. So we want to bring in ABC News contributors, conservative commentator Tara Setmeyer and Kate Shaw, former Obama White House lawyer. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, Tara, as a former White House comms director, which you were in the White House, you hear that the president is willing to testify under oath. What are you thinking?
Well, that was probably not what was advised to him by staff or his legal counsel. You never want to put your client, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been in politics long enough and seen investigations. I lived through the Clinton era, and I, as a comms director in Capitol Hill, you never want to put your member or the principal in that situation. But we all know that Donald Trump is notoriously litigious. He's been through this process more than once as far as, testifying, giving a deposition, but he's also notoriously been untruthful about things. And I think that puts him into some jeopardy. And if we actually see him do this voluntarily, I'll be shocked. He may now, though, be compelled to do so because you have a special counsel and he can subpoena the president of the United States if he needs to. And the president just put himself in a situation where that may happen.
Well, I just want to follow up on that with Kate, because so he did, by saying that, did the president up the odds that he'll be asked to testify under oath? And if he does testify, what are the risks?
Well, he certainly does seem to invite some very quick requests sort of to follow on. I agree that his lawyers are probably going to do everything within their power to resist any request to have the president testify under oath. And I do think a whole sort of universe of new legal risks are opened up. You have the possibility not just of obstruction of justice, but also perjury. Remember when Bill Clinton was impeached by the House, of course, acquitted in the Senate, but the two charges for which he was impeached, obstruction of justice and perjury. So when you go under oath, you don't know what questions you'll be asked, and perjury becomes a real possibility.
Let's talk about James Comey. The president is hitting him, calling him a leaker because he did leak those memos of private conversations. But did he do anything illegal?
You know, government officials using the press to get their version of the facts out is kind of a tale as old as time, and I would say it's not unlawful. So long as there's nothing classified, no defense secrets are being divulged, you can call it unethical or distasteful, but unlawful, I think, is a real stretch. Now, it's possible there were FBI protocols that were violated, and so, the Inspector General could look at that, but unlawful seems like a real stretch to me.
Tara, we've got a few seconds left here. Nearly 40% of the country still strongly supportive of this president, despite all of these swirling controversies. As a conservative, how do you think these folks are viewing all of this news?
Well, I think the president and his surrogates have done a good job of constantly throwing out fake news anytime there's legitimate criticism, so it muddies the water and people don't really know what to do. President Trump is playing the victim constantly. It's, the media's out to get me, I've done nothing wrong, and he projects onto other people what he's actually doing. So right now what you're looking at is really a crisis of credibility. Do you believe the 30-year impeccable record of James Comey, who testified under oath, or do you believe the President of the United States, who we have caught more than one time, not being truthful about things from the size of the crowds at his rallies to what his charitable work foundation has done? So I think when it's presented in that respect, side by side, I think you're going to find that more people will probably go with the FBI director who has proof, has a record, and has done so under oath.
Right.
What conservatives choose to do and what Republicans choose to do, you see they're circling the wagons, but it becomes a little bit more difficult when the president continues to tweet and say things that he said, and behave the way he's behaved. It makes it a little bit more problematic.
Right now, the base holding strong. Tara and Kate, thank you very much for your analysis on a Saturday morning. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, ladies. And we want to turn now to the NBA Finals and the Cleveland Cavaliers staving off elimination, winning Game 4. They are sending the series back to sunny California.
And ABC's TJ Holmes, who's been covering the finals, he considers this a very tough assignment. He has the highlights now from Cleveland. Hey, TJ.
Hey, good morning, gang. Look, nobody wanted to take this assignment, so, hey, somebody's got to do it. But last night, did y'all see this? After one quarter, the Cavaliers were on pace to score 200 points in that game last night. They weren't just hot. They were the hottest we've ever seen in NBA Finals history. That's what it took to beat the Warriors. So we saw a lot of scoring, but we also saw a little bit of pushing, a little shoving, and a little jawing last night.
Cleveland is still alive.
It ain't over yet.
As Golden State's quest for playoff perfection comes to an end tonight.
LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers denied the Golden State Warriors a chance at wrapping up a championship and a perfect playoff record Friday
Curry
night.
hits a three-pointer.
Between Kyrie Irving's 40 points
Irving for three.
and LeBron James' alley-oop to himself.
Pass to himself, and he throws it down. He went up in the air and had nowhere to go.
The Cavs had plenty of highlights in what was a chippy,
Again, blocked by Love.
Testy,
Thompson hit hard, and a hard foul by Draymond Green.
in-your-face kind of contest.
A rugby scrum has broken out.
For the Cavs, it was simple. Win or the season is over. And they came out firing. 49 points in the first quarter, 86 points in the half, both NBA Finals records. They also set the record for three-pointers made in an NBA playoff game.
Corner three.
And LeBron James set the record for the most triple-doubles in NBA Finals history.
You know, when you're down 3-0 and you're fighting and you're trying to get a win, you do whatever it takes.
The Cavs and the Warriors got in each other's faces throughout the game.
James and Durant jawing at each other.
Including this chat between LeBron and Kevin Durant, which resulted in both getting technical fouls.
Durant drives and
Durant
finishes.
again lit up the Cavaliers with 35 points, but Stephen Curry was a bit off his game and finished with just 14 points.
Scoop layup.
It was one of those nights where we just didn't have anything clicking.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again.
With memories of last year's comeback lingering, the series is now headed back to Golden State.
It's one game, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be even tougher in Game 5, but we look forward to the challenge.
So it seemed impossible, right? They were down 3-0. No team in NBA playoff history has ever come back from that. But now, guys, look at this bigger picture. They're down 3-1. The exact spot they were last year when they came back and won the championship. And the popular refrain here, even when they were down 3-0, has been Cavs in 7. So they were chanting that pretty loudly here last night at the Q.
And I think TJ would like to be to witness 3 more games. So TJ, we're pulling for you so that you can cover the series for a little bit longer too. Thanks, TJ. And you can watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals Monday at 9 Eastern right here on ABC.
We are going to turn now, though, to a terrifying scene on a highway in Texas. Police chasing a speeding 18-wheeler.
The truck ramming several cars before smashing into a barrier and setting off a fire. ABC's Ariel Reshef has the very latest.
A harrowing scene on a Texas highway at the height of the noon rush hour. Police trying to stop a semi they say was swerving and speeding.
He was attempting to stop, continued at a high rate of speed.
The driver in the rig, Luis Cano Olivas, leading police on a wild chase, slamming into several vehicles before coming to a screeching halt.
Our SWAT team is trying to make contact with the people that are inside of the trailer.
The man behind the wheel of this incinerated car managed to kick out his window, escaping with non-life-threatening injuries. Traffic backed up for miles along I-30 in Arlington.
But this is in no way even over.
Dozens of drivers lining the highway as officers crouched with their guns drawn. After a nearly 3-hour standoff, police coaxing Olivas out of the cab.
Our SWAT team, along with Fort Worth SWAT team, we worked together and moving in, and we were able to apprehend a single occupant of the semi-trailer, and he is in custody right now.
Some of the lanes of that highway were closed for 8 hours. The driver of the semi is out of the hospital and in jail. He is now facing charges of evading police and assault with a deadly weapon. Police still don't know why he led them on that dangerous pursuit.
Wild scene, though, Ariel.
Really crazy.
It has been a week of intense testimony in the Bill Cosby sexual assault trial. On Monday, he's going to get his chance to present his defense.
But what are the real chances that he's actually going to take the stand? ABC's Lindsay Davis, who's been at the courthouse all week, has the story.
Just before prosecutors rested their sexual assault case against Bill Cosby, they attempted to use the comedian's own words against him. Jurors heard from this 2006 deposition where Cosby admitted that back in the 1970s, he was prepared to give women prescription narcotic drugs prior to sexual encounters. Was it in your mind that you were going to use these quaaludes for young women that you wanted to have sex with? Yes, he said. But in that same deposition, Cosby denied giving them to former Temple employee Andrea Constant, who claims he drugged, then sexually assaulted her at his home in 2004. He says the encounter was consensual, and the pills he gave her were Benadryl, so she could relax.
Cosby's entire defense is that he was in a
romantic relationship with Constant and that what happened on that night was consensual. He has to convince 12 jurors that Constant, one, was not in any way incapacitated, and that two, she consented to the sexual activity that took place that night.
In the deposition, Cosby recounted a conversation with Constant's mother, who was furious. "I apologized to this woman, but my apology was, my God, I'm in trouble," saying he was afraid she thought of him as a dirty old man. On Monday, the defense will start making its case.
Bill Cosby cannot testify under any circumstances. He would be cross-examined in a way that would probably destroy his credibility.
At some point next week, Cosby's wife of 53 years, Camille Cosby, is expected to show her support and show up at court. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Our thanks to Lindsay for that reporting and incredible story. We will continue to follow a lot of other news this morning. And as always, we kick it over to Dr. Ron Claiborne. Good morning, sir.
Hey.
Good morning, doctor.
Morning. Just out of surgery and you're on to the set. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin in London, where overnight a 28-year-old man was arrested in connection with the London Bridge terror investigation. Now we're also seeing the first images of the weapons used in those attacks. Police recovering 3 12-inch knives with pink blades. Investigators also revealing they found multiple gas bombs in the back of the van that was used to plow into the crowd on that bridge. 6 other men remain in police custody in connection with that attack. In Minnesota, a police officer charged in a fatal shooting during a traffic stop last summer took the stand on Friday, telling a court that he pulled the trigger because he thought he was going to die, saying, quote, "I was scared to death." Officer Geronimo Yanez is charged with manslaughter in the death of 32-year-old Philando Castile, who admitted that to the officer that he had a gun in his car. And television host Bill Maher made his return to TV Friday night, exactly 1 week after coming under fire for using a racial slur. Maher saying, quote, "I did a bad thing."
It wasn't said in malice. It wasn't. If it brought back pain to people.
Right.
Well, and that's why I apologize freely, and I reiterate it tonight.
And later in the show, Maher's guest Ice Cube called what Maher said a mistake, a teachable moment for all. And the New York State Attorney General's office says it's investigating the Eric Trump Foundation for possible misappropriation of donations. A new report by Forbes magazine sparked the investigation, which is looking into allegations that the charity overcharged donors for use of Trump properties and then re-donated some of that money to Trump-friendly charities. And take a look at this fiery crash in southern Florida. A tractor trailer carrying airport luggage carousel is exploding on Interstate 75. Police saying the truck hit the guardrail, causing the fuel tank to rupture and then explode. The driver in critical condition with burns to 40% of his body. And finally, one Atlanta Braves fan found out the hard way: never challenge the freeze. Check this out. Fans have been competing in a competition where they're given a 200-foot head start against a masked sprinter. You see him there. This guy almost won.
Oh,
he
no.
celebrated and it cost him. Looking over his shoulder there, the dugout there, the Braves players having a laugh. His team, however, look at that.
What?
You know the old Satchel Paige saying?
Bolt running?
Satchel Paige saying, "Never look back," because you don't know what's going to be gaining on you. This guy could have learned a lesson.
How much of a head start are they getting?
200 feet.
It's incredible.
That's incredible.
You could beat it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he could beat it.
You were speed. You were Lightning McQueen.
Lightning quick, as this weathercast.
He was the freeze.
We're done with the freeze for now. We've got heat building in this video out of North Dakota. Check it out. Talk about fast. This inflow had winds cooking 84 miles an hour in Towner, North Dakota, just down the road in Rugby. Over 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and this storm chaser got caught up in those ferocious winds. A little bit of damage with trees down there, but certainly good video. All right, we got the heat building across the plains here. Some thunderstorms maybe across parts of Minnesota today, but temperatures well into the 90s today, tomorrow, and then onto Monday, we'll see records fall across parts of the Northeast. Our first full-on heat wave cometh. That's a quick check on what's going on nationally. Here now is your local forecast.
Mostly sunny skies for today. If you're heading out to the Capitol Pride Parade, temperatures running in the upper 80s, so already starting to feel rather warm. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm close to the Mason-Dixon line, but that's pretty much it for this afternoon. Celebrate Fairfax also underway. Temperatures tomorrow getting into the low 90s, and that is the start of our heat wave. Temperatures in the mid-90s Monday and Tuesday. Remember to stay well hydrated and limit your time outside. It's going to be hot.
What happens when we have our